Now then, 3rd of December 2022. My last post was the 1st of February this year, so it's been 10 months since I reviewed a Rush album. The title of this particular episode is The Big Bang, because I'm about to review Rush is Power Wonders, their 11th studio album, released on the 29th of October 1985, recently had its 37th anniversary, produced by Peter Collins, running time 44 minutes 4 seconds, which for me is about right, and recorded among others The Manor, Abbey Road and AIR Montserrat. The album is a further step into the emphasis on keyboards and electronics, and Alex plays a more supportive role. It's also a step away from Rush's progressive rock style of the 1980s. It's a style firmly rooted in the 1980s. Lyrically, the album discusses man's relationship with power, be it the power of money, influence, criticism, dreams, mystic, or the power of science. Nevertheless, how serious the subject matter is. The actual music tends to be catchy, alluring, very commercial melodies and choruses, what attract the listener over and over again. Track one, side one, is called The Big Money, and for me it's the Rush's version of I Can See for Miles and Miles, the track by The Who. It's got Pete Townshend all over it. I can see his style all over it, particularly the little catchy little melodies and rhythms all over it. It also sets the bar on the guitar versus keyboard style for the rest of the album. Alex finds a nice little niche for his guitar, powerful but not overpowering, while letting Geddy's keyboards embellish some brilliant music. The structure of the track has a nice guitar incisive riff, expertly enhanced by the keyboards and the intricate bass playing from Geddy. And then there's Neil with a fantastic drum sound. Sounds like he's playing in an echo chamber in a church, and echoes all over the music, producing a fantastic soundscape. Lyrically, Neil discusses the good and bad influence and the effect big money has on our lives. He concludes it has the power for good, but also has the power for bad. It makes mistakes. Here Neil lays the facts out for the listener to decide. His conclusion, good and evil, but it still has no soul or feeling. A track for me straight out of Pete Townshend's songbook, with its musically inspired chorus. The whole soundscape, fantastic. Great start to the album. Second track's Grand Designs. It's always been a bit of a puzzle for me, this track. But now I've looked into it as close I have, no more. For me, it's Neil's take on the contemporary music scene of the 1980s. So much style without substance. Too much image and not enough music. These two dimensions are part of a mass production scheme where spirit and integrity have been left behind. However, like a teardrop in the ocean or a diamond in the waste, Neil seems to think some artists swim against the tide and decent music can be discovered. The last suggested section would suggest Rush themselves are attempting to break this mould with their own wild kinetic dreams, somewhat elevating their own music to that of Grand Designs. Musically, it's a grand piece. The pace musically, continues, the course set by Big Money. Keyboards introduction with Alex adding a heavy guitar, Neil's drums still reverberating, then a quick change of pace into the chorus, back and forth throughout. The pace, great solo from Alex, reminding how he's still out there. Mammoth bass line from Geddy, Neil's booming percussion, all enhanced by an elaborate electric soundscape. It's when you listen to this track, it's easy to recognise the real thing when it's created. It's a nice piece of music. Track 3 is the Manhattan Project. Now this was the name of the enterprise that built the atomic bombs that were dropped on Japan at the end of World War II, causing the Japanese to surrender, and the end of World War II. Neil wanted to write about the birth of the nuclear age. Thus, the Manhattan Project's lyrics are an historical account of the project and its consequences. Its main conclusion, the world was never the same again. Neil asked the listener to imagine and examine the personal circumstances of the scientists involved, the political conditions of the time, and above all the feelings of the pilot and the crew of the Enola Gay, the aircraft that actually dropped the bomb. Musically, the track is quick, simple, the lyrics are its driving force. An aircraft and military drum start the piece, indicating that it was a political decisions driven by war to drop the bomb. Slow tempo beginning, speeding up to the first of two instrumental sections. The climax eventually unfolds with Geddy yelling shockwave as the music dramatically reflects the flying fortress flying back from the explosion. Alex concludes the piece before we end with a military drum beat again. Dramatic music telling a dramatic story. Track number 4 is Marathon. It amazes me how can a song about individual aspirations and the effort to achieve them be so absolutely brilliant. For me, the track is among the elite of Rush's music catalogue. 6 minutes, 9 seconds of sheer delight. Power of time raises its head to determine how you can do a lot in a lifetime. Just have the patience, be prepared to stay the course. Don't burn yourself out. The line that stands out for me in this piece is, the peak is never past. Thus Neil stresses always strive for individual goals. The lyrics rebuke taking a conservative approach to life. On a personal level, Neil attempts to inspire his audience. Musically, Geddy takes over the main riff here, literally playing at a running pace. Some fantastic bass playing. The track has one of the most catchy melodies and choruses in the band's repertoire, backed up by complex musical patterns, and then it's stripped down for a solo from Alex, only for the piece to regenerate itself with a big dramatic climax incorporating orchestra, choir and everything the band can throw at it. It's a masterpiece. I always think it's a bit of a dedication to me, because when I saw him took the family to see him on the on the Audio Fire tour. I think it was 1988, something like that. We was right 4 rows from the front at Birmingham, and you see him right in front of the running man. And when all the screen music come on in the background, all the mouths, the smiles come on at the end. And there was one with a couple of teeth missing, and I thought, whoa, that's for me, that one. And I just think it's an absolutely fantastic piece of music, and I love it. It's just absolutely great. Moving on. Track number 5 is Territories. A drum beat, slow pace beginning, before a blast of keyboards and Alex's dynamic slashing guitar riff. This leads to one of the band's more complex choruses. The track builds up to a climax, relying on walls of sound, and Alex changes the format with his guitar. The piece finishes at the same tempo it begun, however this time with a classic bass riff from Geddy. Basically here we have Neil coming out as an internationalist, or as he likes to describe himself, a citizen of the world. Not insular as a nationalist, but one who doesn't believe in borders. Quite a temporary topic when you look at things that are happening today. To Neil, every country hides behind flags and sends up warning sounds when borders are disturbed. There seems to be a bit of a double think here for me. 1 minute he's stating how pleasant and nice it is to appreciate all the things of our home, and then he's saying if people want to travel, and they should be restricted by borders. And so many, the other point he makes, we are looking at things the wrong way. We're looking at things, he says, because we put borders up and restrict international travel, we're looking through the hourglass in reverse, and we're placing restrictions when we shouldn't. I mean, and another point he makes is, how can we feed the people but not the machines? Well, you need the machines to feed people. A song that's very relevant today. I might not agree with its sentiment and its argument, however, I do like the way it's packaged. Track 6, Middletown Dreams, is another wow from me. The song's about the power of aspirations. How many Middletowns are there all over the world, packed with people, young, old, male, female, who feel they have got something to offer and the need to fulfil their dreams. The track is influenced by writer Sherwood Anderson, painter Paul Gauguin. Go out and paint them big cities there, who both accomplish things later in life. And the young boy represents a lot of Neil's counterparts in the music industry, coming from wildly differing backgrounds and unlikely backgrounds. Nevertheless, they all had a dream and they made it in the music industry. The pattern of music here is slightly different. Stripped down sequencer at the beginning, setting the tempo of the piece before Alex stamps his guitar all over the place, underlying the main lyrical statements in the piece. This is Alex's best performance on the CD. Some remarkable interventions, and it songs creates a big musical climax. Awesome chorus, great melody, leaves the listener yearning for more. It's a peerless piece of music for me. Track 7 is Emotion Detector. Bit of a puzzle for me, this one was. But I think I've unciphered it. I've had a good look at this. And the general opinion is it's about feelings, and it is about feelings. But I don't think it's about feelings between individuals. I think it's about the feelings of the band, how they're criticised in their work by the music industry and by the media as a whole. The song reflects the band's reactions from praise and criticism, and from the media and the fans. It's like when we lift the covers of our feelings, as the band do and other artists do in the work. We expose our insecure parts. That's Rush's work being examined by people, particularly Neil's lyrics. The other part what convinced me, the other lyric part in the song what convinces me, it's about the music and treats. I always remember the cover of Who's Next with Keith Moon, one of Neil's heroes, sat in the bath of baked beans. And that's the line there. We have to act like fools to gain attention and approval. That that sort of has a resonance there. However, and he goes on to say the critics can be too cruel, and there's some connection there for me. Sometimes too tender, sometimes too tough. Getting the right balance is ready. Neil is taking. He's looking at here, and he's trying to put a break on things. He's trying to say, look, we're open to scorn and ridicule, but their art, I mean, Rush's art only makes simple ripples in the pool, and why should they be under so much pressure? I mean, musically the track continues a general pattern of the CD. It's a gentle paced song, guitar orientated, electronic influences all through the song. A great bass line by Geddy, decent solo, and a bit of a big orchestral finish. And as always, Geddy seems to have he's just got a great bass line. I feel it's a track what has to be looked upon in conjunction with Limelight about the effects of being a man, a celebrity on a musician. It's almost played in a sort of soft sigh, expressing a certain reluctance to accept the situation they're in, and you can't see basically why so much criticism when the Rush's actual work is, as I said before, only creates small ripples in the pool. But that's my take on the song anyhow, and I think that when the more you look at it, I think that's how the lyrics fit the bill. But I do like the track, and it's got a cracking little chorus, a cracking little melody. But according to Alex, it's one that couldn't get right, and he doesn't like listening to it. But I like it. Let's move on. The last track on the album, track 8, is Mystic Rhythms. And the lyrics here are basically a discussion of the unknown. Everybody has some thoughts on the unknown entities of the world. We can just either discount them, or we can see if there's some truth in them, or we can be fascinated and entertained by it all. Neil was quoted here as saying he's agnostic, but curious, and romantic enough to want it all to be true. Musically, the track is the odd one out for me. Neil sets the pace with an African drum beat. Keyboards start to dominate. Alex takes a back state until well into the piece. Another prominent bass line by Geddy, layer upon layer of keyboards. Before you notice, after 2 chorus sections, we're in full scale mode here, with Alex involved, booming drums, and you think, where did all this come from? Well, it's magic. It's Mystic Rhythms. Not a bad piece of music. I like it, and a fine ending. In conclusion, Power Windows went platinum in the United States, sold well in Canada, UK and Europe, and was met with mostly positive reviews by the music press, with some pigeonholing it in a progressive new wave category. For me, it's a further step down the electronic keyboard mode, which defined a lot of Rush's music in the 1980s. but it's still, for me, integrity Rush. Not a step too far what Hold Your Fire was. It created a 75 concert tour of North America. However, they never ventured to Europe, and it was such a disappointment for me, for a lot of Rush fans who would have been there. They're going to more than one concert. Star of the album. Although, admittedly, takes although Alex takes a bit of a back step, he still elevates every song to a higher level. Neil's drum sound for me is exceptional. His drumming is powerful as ever. Lyrically, he's to the point and near his best. However, Geddy makes the album for me. Not just his contribution with the keyboard. His bass playing is absolutely outstanding. He always manages to create a different bass line for every song, and it's just amazing. But Power Windows for me is an album of melodies and choruses. And them chorus lines, some of them are absolutely fantastic, and they just raise the whole album to a different level. The presentation, so much imagination gone into the cover by you, Sam. A bare-chested youth looking at an open window, remote control in hand, hoping to change reality, turning away from 3 televisions, what behind him, one for each of the band. And the back cover, the same youth is looking through the hourglass, but not in reverse. He's looking through the hourglass straight at you. Lyrics of the album, for me, it's understood by every single person. There would be elsewhere if they could. So far, so good. And life's not unpleasant in that little neighbourhood. Daydream in Middletown. And my heart's quite relevant because a lot of us are doing that. Now I'm going to connect further reading with little known facts. I mean, I started looking at this album very closely, indeed, and I discovered this writer, John Dos Passos. There he is there, look. There's a connection here between this kid here, the writing, and Rush. I mean, there's a book called The Big Money. There's a book called The Grand Design. There's a book called The Camera. There's sections of this book I've got here called The Camera Eye. And also there's a piece he wrote called Rocinante to the Road Again. So I haven't read it yet. It's my next, I shall be reading this come next week. Well, I've finished, I've been reading my current novel. So that for me is a little known fact. Something I didn't know anyhow. So I would also suggest a read, a little close look, because it's no coincidence that all them titles of books are this man's written. They're all titles of Rush songs. There's definitely a connection in this man's writing and some of Neil's lyrics. So that's an avenue I would suggest I'm going to go down. So that's an avenue I would suggest some Rush fans to go down. Right, that's about it. That's quite quick. I've got a few minutes to spare. I enjoyed Power Windows. It all, as I said, it all's the integrity of Rush. I like the production. I like the soundscape. The strength of material's good. The band's musicianship is top notch. And the other thing I'd like to say, I mean, at 45 minutes, it's a right length of time. You look some of the later work, and it's stretching it a bit. There's always a sort of track too much on the likes of Hold Your Fire and Roll the Bones and albums like that. It just stretches them so much. I think they get it right. There's no throwaways on this, and I like that. Now, I'd just like to mention before I go, I was the last rock concert I went to last Tuesday week at Old City Hall. That's where from one, Saxon, and it was absolutely fantastic. proper heavy metal night. Took my granddaughter, she loved it. She was on the front row with a mate, rocking away. It was absolutely fantastic. So that's for you, Biff, mate. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I'll see you again. Hopefully it won't be 10 months. So I'll leave you. That's a wrap.